Hello class, my name is Rachael Galbraith and welcome to my LP 4.1 assignment, Controlling Presentation for Introduction to Leadership and Quality. Organizational control is defined as the process used to manage organizational processes having to do with achieving the organizational goals of the company. Controlling compares performance standards to the actual performance of a company in order to decide on what measures to take to correct or improve the performance of that organization. It is important for managers to have access to accurate information to base their controlling decisions off of. If the information used is not accurate, then the decisions made will not be in the best interest of the company. Throughout this presentation, I'm going to talk about three types of control approaches: feedback control model, the balanced scorecard, and total quality management. I'm going to talk more about total quality management than I am going to about the other two. The feedback control model, which I have an image on the left that kind of explains it, so it's a little bit easier to understand, but it consists of 4 steps: establishing performance standards, measuring the actual performance of the organization, comparing the two against one another, and then from there taking action to correct any issues. This model uses feedback to help managers monitor and regulate their organization and to ensure goals and performance standards are being met. The balanced scorecard, which I also have an image on the left of this one as well so you can better understand it, it measures 4 performance areas: the financial performance, customer service, internal business processes, and growth potential. When it comes to financial performance, it has to do with, the net income, investment returns, all sorts of financial equations, things like that. When it comes to customer service, it uses surveys to measure customer satisfaction because customer satisfaction is very important to a business. For internal business processes, it focuses mostly on the production and the operating data. When it comes to learning and growth potential, it has to do with the changing and improving of the organization. This model combines traditional financial and operating standards with information known about the financial and operating measures of the current company to promote the improvements and patterns that will lead to the success of the company. Total quality management, which I will cover a lot more than the first two, is defined as the organization as a whole focusing on putting quality standards into everything that they do in order to boost improvement in every aspect of the business. It involves techniques such as quality circles, benchmarking, Six Sigma principles, quality partnering, and continuous improvement, which a few of these I will also elaborate more on farther down in the presentation. This approach focuses more on implementing quality along with managerial and performance standards instead of just focusing mainly on the managerial and performance aspects for improvement. Managing quality influences not only the changing and improvements of management practices, but it also enhances business excellence by showing responsibility by caring about the quality of the products and services that are given to our customers. Quality is used to focus on and exceed the needs of customers and in turn promoting customer satisfaction. Without customers, a business could not survive. That is why customer satisfaction is so important, and total quality management is a very effective way of managing this concept. As customer demands change, the management of quality must also change. The world around us and the people in it are evolving even as we sit here today. This is why quality management and improvement must be continuous to stay up to date with the demands of the customers. Ideology can be used to form thoughts, attitudes, opinions, and behaviors to influence quality improvement of others or the employees. In terms of ideology, quality is used to influence management and employees to exceed the customer's needs of the organization by making the main goal to improve quality. Total quality management requires a strong leader. It is up to the management team to produce ideas, adopt them, and implement them throughout the organization. Management must be committed to the influence of quality and improvement, and unknowingly others will follow in their steps. There are 4 main principles associated with total quality management. First one being customer satisfaction, the second one continuous improvement, the third empowerment, and the last one teamwork. Customer satisfaction includes both internal and external customers. The internal customers are people who are producing the products or services, meaning the employees. The external customers are the people who buy and consume and/or use the product or service that is being provided to them. Internal customer satisfaction is said to be successful when the production employees perform an outstanding job before delivering the finished product to the next internal customer. External customer satisfaction is said to be successful when the final judge of quality is to the expected standards of the external customer. So if the external customer is happy with what they have bought, then it is said to be successful. Continuous improvement has to do with continually improving the product or services offered, as well as continually improving the processes in which these products or services are made. Empowerment is the act of putting employees in charge of the leadership or in the leadership role of their tasks in order to empower them to take responsibility and want to do a good job, because the quality of their work will be dependent on how well they do as an individual. When it comes to teamwork, this is used to increase efficiency and effectiveness. It can also be helpful in conquering issues that an individual may not have been able to handle on their own. Quality circles, which are a TQM technique, which we talked about earlier, is defined as a group of 6 to 12 employees who volunteer to meet on a regular basis as a team to review problems and work out solutions to issues that are affecting the work quality of the organization. The idea behind quality circles is to have people who are actually doing the job come up with effective solutions, because they know the job in the workplace much better than any outside party ever would. This technique also promotes employee involvement and learning by encouraging participation in opinion-based teams to invoke changes that they believe are necessary for the success of the company and the satisfaction of the employees themselves. Employees can use learning and their involvement knowledge of the company to make the best decisions for their specific work environment. As employees, learning and being involved can make changes seem like improvement in possibilities chosen by them instead of new ideas that they are forced to adapt. This in turn prevents resistance to change. Benchmarking, which is the second TQM technique we're going to talk about, is defined as the process that continually measures products, services, and practices compared to other organizations or competitors in the same type of business practices in order to identify where improvements are needed. On the left, you'll see a general process of benchmarking, so you can better understand this. The general steps in benchmarking include planning, finding, collecting, analyzing, and then improving. Because in benchmarking, you are comparing your organization to other like organizations, it can be individualized to best adapt to the needs and wants of the company itself. Every benchmarking technique is not going to work for all companies, but the great thing about this technique is that it can be tweaked to fit any organizational goals. The last TQM technique I'm going to talk about is the Six Sigma Principles. And this is a quality standard where the goal is to have no more than 3.4 defected parts per million parts, or in other words, being 99.99997% defect-free at all times. It uses 5 specific steps to achieve higher quality at lower costs, and these steps are to define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. In order to maintain the Six Sigma culture in an organization, leadership must use constant reinforcement, encouragement, and collaboration. By the time this technique is fully implemented, everyone involved has adapted to the thinking that defects are unacceptable, and they pride themselves in being able to carry out this idea for the long term. It is very important for key players involved to have the knowledge of what is expected of them and what role they are to play in the Six Sigma implementation in order to get the full effect of this outstanding technique. Organizational control in conclusion, is an important aspect of correcting and improving the organization's performance and quality standards. There are many different types of organizational control. The best option will depend on the current situation and goals of that organization. However, in my opinion, total quality control, TQM, should always be considered when deciding to make a change to improve a company. This approach uses financial and budgetary information as well as performance and managerial standards paired with quality to improve the well-being of an organization. It takes into consideration how the company is performing, how financial equations identify the stability of the company, and whether the quality of the products or services are acceptable. With that information, the final steps is to decide what leadership should do to fix any problems having to do with these key areas. Knowing that when decisions are made, they must keep in mind not only the company and its employees, but also its customers. My remaining slides have my references. At the bottom of each slide throughout my presentation, which I forgot to mention, also has my references that I used for each one of those slides. And I would like to thank you for all of your time.